Let me guess, you are tired of your panoramas getting ruined by those ugly jack stitching errors. You are frustrated because your file images look soft and just don't have that epic feeling you had when you were standing there. You know the signs: warped horizons, ghosted objects where things moved, and a final image that you couldn't print larger than a postcard even if you wanted to. Look, it's not your fault. Most of the tutorials out there are years behind the curve. But what if I told you there's a bulletproof workflow that pros use to get flawless, tick-sharp, high-resolution results every single time? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete A to Z Panorama workflow for 2025. We'll cover the gear you actually need, the secrets to capturing it perfectly in the field, and the software that will completely change your pano game. By the end of this, you'll be able to create massive, breathtaking images that you can proudly hang on your wall. Quick note before we start. This video is the fast track. If you want the full deep dive, we've got a 5-part panorama series right here on the channel. Gear and setup, field capture, PTGui stitching, Adobe Camera, Photoshop, and so on. Links are below the video. And we drop practical tips all the way through. Stick around to the end so you don't miss any. And if you would like to learn it out in the wild, we run landscape photo expeditions. Alaska, Lofoten Islands, Iceland, Dolomites, Madeira, Cyprus, and other locations. Come shoot with us, details below. Let's get one thing straight. Panoramic photography isn't about fitting it all in. It's about total compositional freedom. We are not limited by any one angle of view. We pick the focal length that serves the idea. Ultra-wide for foreground drama, 28 or 35 or 50 for balance, to, let's say, 400mm for compression and visual impact. Those distant mountains look larger and more majestic. With panos, we don't just take a frame. We build one slice by slice, row by row, exactly where we want it. That's how we take a place everyone has shot 1,000 times and make it feel new. Tighten the story to a clean slice, stack multi-row for height, or go full 360 degrees so the scene reads in a completely fresh way. Composition is the hero, the gear follows. And yes, resolution is the sweet side effect. Stitching creates a much larger master file, 100, 200, even 500 megapixels, when needed for wall-size prints or uncompromising client work. In short, creative control first, megapixels are the bonus you cash in when you print big. By the way, we are starting a Patreon as a home for the extras, things that you don't find on YouTube. Hop in below. Alright, before we dive into gear, one big mistake to clear up. We don't need to spend thousands on specialized equipment to make incredible panoramas. We can get amazing results with the gear we probably already have. At the most basic level, all we need is a camera with manual mode, any lens, and a tripod. The tripod is the one essential piece of gear. It is the absolute foundation of great panorama. While we can shoot handheld with modern software, a tripod is what guarantees precision and saves us a world of frustration. Also, we use exposure bracketing in, let's say, 95% of cases, which means handheld is out of question. For daytime panoramas, we don't need a cable release or a remote. A 2-second self-timer is more than enough. Trust me, I've been shooting this way for many years. Now, for a full-on professional 2025 level workflow, we want to mention 2 small but mighty items: an L bracket and a nodal slide. An L bracket is a simple metal plate that lets us mount the camera vertically on the tripod while keeping everything perfectly balanced. As we'll see, shooting vertically is one of the biggest secrets in the game. The nodal slide is the ultimate tool for eliminating parallax. The shift you can see when nearby objects move against the background as we pan the camera. If there is a rock or a tree in the foreground, that shift can make clean stitching impossible. A nodal slide lets us rotate the camera around the nodal point of the lens, which eliminates the perspective shift and guarantees a perfect stitch every time. It's an essential tool for complex pro-level work. As for cameras, high-resolution mirrorless bodies are fantastic for panorama work. But a DSLR works just fine, and we can even shoot a pano on a phone. While prime lenses have a reputation for being sharper with less distortion, many modern high-quality zooms perform beautifully too, especially with software corrections. The key is to start with what you already have. This is where 90% of the result is decided. Follow these steps and the computer part will be a walk in the park. By the way, if it's helping, hit like button so YouTube shows it to more beginners. We also just opened Patreon, extras we can't fit on YouTube and a way to help us make more, link below. Okay guys, let's jump in. Step 1. Compose and level. Before you do anything else, scout your scene. Know where you want your panorama to start and end. Once you have set up your tripod, the most important first step is to level the tripod base itself, not just the camera on top. Use a bubble level on the legs. If the base is level, your pan across the horizon will be perfectly flat. This is critical. Step 2. Go vertical. This is the secret that separates the beginners from the pros. Turn your camera 90 degrees into portrait orientation. I know it feels weird for a wide landscape, but it gives you a massive boost in vertical resolution. It stops your final panel from looking like an ultra-thin strip and gives you way more room to crop later on. Step 3. Lock it down. Manual everything. This is the golden rule. We remove anything that can change between frames. Manual exposure, white balance, focus and ISO. No surprises, no shifts. Manual mode. Your exposure cannot change. A great trick is to pan across the whole scene, find the brightest spot and set your exposure for that spot without blowing out highlights. Look in your ISO, aperture and shutter speed and don't tighten them again. However, the scene's dynamic range is often much greater than dynamic range of our camera sensors. That's why, in the vast majority of cases, we use exposure bracketing. Most commonly 3 exposures at ±2 EV. Manual focus. Autofocus will wreck your pano. Find a point about a third of the way into your scene, zoom in with live view to nail the focus, and then switch your lens to manual. Every single shot must share the exact same focal plane. Manual white balance. Auto white balance will cause ugly color shifts from one frame to the next. Set the manual preset like daylight or cloudy or dial in a specific Kelvin temperature. Shoot in RAW. This is absolutely non-negotiable. RAW files hold all the data, giving you the most flexibility when you get to editing. Step 4. The overlap. Our software needs common ground between photos to line them up. The rule is to overlap each frame by about 25%. A good trick is to put an object on the right edge of your frame, then pan until the same object is about a third of the way in from the left. Step 5. The shot sequence. Now you are ready. Start at your beginning point and take the first shot. Pan smoothly to the next position, fire again, and repeat until you reach your end point. Bonus tip. Create a new folder for each panorama. That way you will not have to search for where your pano starts and ends. Okay, We just covered the entire fill process, which is honestly the most important part of getting this right. If you are finding these tips valuable, do us a huge favor and hit that like button. And if you want to practice it on location, golden light, real weather, real decisions, check our photo expeditions. We keep groups small, shoot a lot, and review images together, links below. Now let's grab these images and head over to the computer. With your perfectly shot raw files ready to go, it's time to work some magic. The software you choose here really matters. The most convenient starting point is Adobe Lightroom or Photoshop. You can just select your images, right-click and hit Photo Merge, Panorama. For simple scenes, this works pretty well. The big downside is the lack of control. If it messes up, you are pretty much stuck. For the ultimate 2025 workflow, pros turn to dedicated software. The long-time paid standard is PTGui Pro, known for its power and deep control. It lets you manually adjust control points, use advanced masks for moving objects, and offers different projection types to wrangle distortion. It's built to handle huge gigapixel projects that would make other programs crash. I have used PTGui for many years. We have filmed 2 videos on working with it, both the basics and advanced techniques, which you can find here on the channel. Watch them and you will handle PTGui like a pro. Links are below the video. The pro workflow usually goes like this. Make some basic tweaks to your RAW files in a program like Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw. Export them as 16-bit TIFF files. Bring those TIFFs into PTGui for stitching. The software will then spit out a massive new Photoshop file, which is ready for the final edit. We have also filmed a video on processing RAW files in Adobe Camera Raw and another on Photoshop Basics. You will find both here on the channel. Links are also below the video. Now we've got our giant stitch file. Open it back up in Photoshop or your final favorite editor for the final creative edit. This is where you bring your artistic vision to life with color grading, contrast, selective colors, so on. Finally, think about your end goal, the print. One of the best parts of shooting panos is seeing them huge. To get a great print, you need to prepare the file correctly. The term 300 dpi gets thrown around a lot, but what it really means is you are telling the printer to place 300 dots of ink for every inch of paper. So you will want to export your file with dimensions that allow for at least 300 pixels per inch at your desired print size. And there you have it, the complete bulletproof panorama workflow for 2025. It's a process, for sure, but it's rock solid and proven. Let's just recap the biggest takeaways. Level your tripod base first. Shoot vertically. Lock down every setting in manual mode. Overlap your frames by at least 25%. And for the best results, use dedicated stitching software like PTGui. When you follow this workflow, you are not just taking a wide photo anymore. You are becoming an image architect, building a massive, detail-rich file that captures the work in a way most people never get to see. You have officially moved beyond the limits of your camera sensor to create something truly epic. Now you have the blueprint. The only thing left is to get out there, find a scene that inspires you, and go make a masterpiece. The best place to do that is on our expeditions, where we learn everything from start to finish, from camera setup to final prints in amazing locations like Alaska, the Lofoten Islands, Madeira, Tuscany, the Dolomites, and more. If you use this workflow to create a panorama, we would absolutely love to see it. And if you want more deep dives into the techniques that pros use, make sure you hit subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching and happy shooting!
By the way, Have you heard that you can join us on our exclusive photography expeditions to Lofoten in Iceland? If you want to know more, check the link below.